I'm standing here with Jim Cornette, the manager of the Midnight Express. And Mr. Cornette, I've watched Skandar Akbar manage his troops, and Skandar Akbar was a former North American champion himself, a tough athlete in his own right. I've been against Gary Hart and his armies, and Gary Hart was a pretty good-sized street guy from Chicago. Rock Hunter, who was formerly a great athlete, managed the Assassins. You're the first athlete I've ever seen, or first non-athlete, who is arrogant, audacious, flamboyant, rude, and a mama's boy that brags about how you use your mother's capital to accomplish what you want.
Well, Bill Watts, first of all, let me just say one thing. People with money do not have to sweat. Why should I work for something when all I have to do is call my mother and she buys it for me? Do you understand that? Can you comprehend?
Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 2 generations, you know, or whatever. I still respect the people that earned on their own right. But last week, Reeser Bowden was interviewing Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling 2, congratulating them on winning Christmas night the Mid-South Tag titles, and you came out and interrupted that interview. Let's rejoin that.
Well, like I told you before, it was just a matter of time. You stuck with me, you obeyed the things that I've tried to pound into your head, and it all came true. Right here's the proof of the pudding, man. We've got it, and we're going to keep on going right along with it.
Well, Magnum TA certainly came through a champ. There's no question about that. But we cannot overlook...
Let me just explain one thing to you.
Hold on just a second. Could I just interrupt here for just a minute? I heard a lot of names being bandied about out here a minute ago about top competition, but one name that was conspicuous in its absence was the Midnight Express. Now, can you explain just what the problem is? We've been trying to get a title match with you two for a long time. I've offered any amount of my mother's money that you want. We can't get the contract signed. What's the problem? Can either one of you happen to tell me?
Hey, pal, there is no problem. Anytime you feel that you're qualified, we'll be ready for you. The Mid-South is the one that determined that.
Well, I feel like I'm qualified, and I feel like my men are qualified. I don't feel like you two are qualified. What you done, this guy, he was a frustrated sex symbol, and you were just frustrated. You've taken him from a frustrated sex symbol and turned him into a coward. And I think I'm going to just back up here just a step. I think what the problem is in getting you two in the ring is that both of you are chicken. Both of you are cowards, you're chickens, and if you don't give us a title match, what we're going to have to do is prove to all these people that love you so much in a way that they ain't never going to forget just exactly how chicken you are.
You imagine that pipsqueak calling men chicken?
I think that man would be very at home in a hen house, and not as a rooster either.
No, he'd probably be sitting on a nest warming the eggs.
Well, of course, he is exactly right. The Midnight Express are a very fine team, but they've got a lot to prove.
I like to watch myself.
Well, I think at that point that they thought you were just another smart aleck with a lot of rhetoric. I think they didn't realize that when you were talking about them being chicken that you were going to take such drastic action to make a visual reminder to everybody. It's something that I think went out with when the Ku Klux Klan was riding roughshod over a lot of scared folks. And we'll rejoin.
I've heard rumors of that group, but I am a man of integrity. I warned them, Bill Watts. I warned them what I was going to do, and nobody can say that I didn't.
Well, let's see the style and the bravery in which you conducted your operation.
They fought so hard to gain that Mid-South Tag Championship. They got that match by defeating Reed and Neidhart in a non-title bout. Then it was ordered back and finally forced into a cage match. No disqualification for Wrestling 2's mask at stake. 2 said he wouldn't have put his mask at stake if he didn't have all the confidence in the world in Magnum TA. And, of course, Darso and Volkov have asked for a title bout. Reed says he's entitled to get a partner and get a return match. Neidhart says he's entitled to get a partner and get a return match.
Wait a minute.
Jimmy Cornette. Jimmy Cornette has just entered the ring.
What's going on? I've never seen...
He's calling for Reeser Bowden.
There's no timeouts in...
Got a couple of sacks there. I don't know what's going on. He's crazy. Mama's boy. You hear the crowd, they call him Mama's.
You know, I believe I told everybody that Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling 2 are a couple of chickens because they won't defend the Mid-South Tag Team belts against the Midnight Express. Well, my mother and I have gotten together, and we've gotten a little surprise for you. We've got something to make an example out of you two and to show you that we don't tolerate cowards around here at all.
Oh!
What?
He just looks like he hit Wrestling 2 in the back of the head with a blackjack or a slapstick or something. He knocked Wrestling 2 cold. They Pearl Harbored Magnum T and Wrestling 2. Wrestling 2 is completely unconscious. The Midnight Express, Dennis Conner and Bob even came back from the front door
Look at, now they're going to man it. The referee's been sent out of the concrete.
He's taking something in a jar. He's pouring something all over Magnum TA. It looks like it. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Bill, looks like syrup or some.
TA struggling. Feathers.
Look at the.
It's like he's tarring feathering him, or I don't know, some kind of stuff, some substance, and feathers. He's making Magnum TA like he says. Magnum TA is a chicken. Wrestling 2 is totally unconscious. They have feathered. I don't know what the substance is, but Magnum TA is feathered just like a chicken.
I've never seen anything like it.
The Express is leaving.
There's Rick Rude, Dr. Death's coming, the George Weingroff, and
He's
they're
got that slapper out. He's got that slapper out.
That's a blackjack, Bill.
Yeah, slapper, blackjack, whatever it is. They're giving him a lot of room.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Cornette said they would do something, that they would prove they're not to be taken lightly, Jim Ross.
I guarantee you that, Bill. Look at Magnum TA.
Well, you know, like I say, I've been in wrestling some 20 years, and I've been proud to be called a professional wrestler. And I've had a lot of beefs with a lot of people, but I always think there was a way that in something about the king of sports, that you had to have a certain amount of honor, that you took on your opponents head on. Are you?
The only honor that I have, Bill Watts, is when I want something, I get it one way or the other. That's the only honor that I have. What affects a Cornette and what affects my men, the Midnight Express. That's all I care about. That's all I think about. That's all I want to hear about.
Well, Laura Link kept the cameras running, and we want to see back as the Wrestling
let's take a
2
look at it.
and Magnum TA were helped from the ring there. This is the most...
That has got to be the single funniest thing I have seen in a week or two. Look at TA there. He looks like the big chicken that he is, wallering around in the middle of a puddle of feathers. Look at this Rick Rude, that guy trying to help him up. There's Limpin' Lanny right there. This is the greatest thing that I think I have ever done. You know, Bill Watts, I can match you, by the way, multisyllabic term for multisyllabic term, and that right there is a masterpiece. What do you think?
There's a man in agony and turmoil right there.
There is humiliation right there, and I told him, I warned him, like I said, I'm a man of integrity. I warned him what I was going to do. He wouldn't pay heed to it. He wouldn't pay attention to it, so he paid the price for it. And where's Wrestling 2? I believe he might be back in the back someplace with an ice pack on his head by this time, because he took a blow.
That's right. You know, on a hot night, it only takes a small spark to ignite a whole forest fire. And you may have just lit something that you can't put out. Later on, we had Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA, and we got him out to say a few words. And you're right, they were humiliated. TA thought he'd been made a total fool of. Let's listen to their words.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm at ringside with the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA. And gentlemen, I've been in wrestling 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this. And I'm sure everybody's awaiting your comments as I am.
Let me tell you something right now, Bill Watts. They pulled a trick this time. But let me tell each and every one of you out there, there's going to be some plucking going on around here. You talk about chickens. When we're through with you, we're going to pluck everything out of you. Every strip, we're going to pick you until you can't be picked anymore.
I'm here to tell each and every one of you right now, you might find something remotely humorous about this, but to me, this is the most degrading, humiliating thing anyone could have possibly done to me. And this will not be the end of this. Midnight Express, Cornette, this, if you wanted my attention, you've got Magnum TA's attention, and now you got my attention. Let's see what you're gonna do about it. Where are you now? I'll be up anywhere you want to be. I can't put the titles up. Mid-South's got to do that. But I'll wrestle you anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. Don't walk the streets and turn your back, because this is some old medicine that should have been forgotten a long time ago. Tactics like this should never, never, ever be used on any human being on this earth. And I'll make you regret the day you ever thought about feathering Magnum TA. Mark my words.
Wrestling 2 wants to talk about plucking somebody. Why don't you pluck your partner? He's the one wearing feathers. I don't have any. You know, you drew an interesting analogy about a forest fire. Well, Dennis Condrey and Bob Eaton, the Midnight Express, are about the best candidates I can think of to play Smokey Bear on Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA. Now, I can tell you one thing right now. Up till now, we've been having a little fun. We've been playing around just trying to get a title match. But if they want to get serious, let me tell you something. We can get serious. And if you don't give us a title match before long, we're going to do something that we won't regret, but you probably will.
Well, Mr. Cornette, I'll say one thing about Grizzly Smith and Mid-South Wrestling. You can't come in here with your back alley tactics and force title matches. That's up to Grizzly Smith and Mid-South. So you're going to have to prove that you have the right in another manner. But I will tell something that you have earned. Charlie Lay and Grizzly Smith have placed probably the largest fine ever in Mid-South. You have been fined $5,000 for that action last week.
Well, let me tell you, I'm sure you've probably bankrupted a lot of these ordinary run-of-the-mill people in Mid-South with fines, but you know what $5,000 is to me, Bill Watts? A phone call home to Mother.
I am at a loss for words. You know, that's the kind of guy that your hands just get kind of sweaty and clammy and itchy to backhand him. We'll be back after these messages from...
I'm here at ringside with the manager of the Midnight Express, Jim Cornette. And Mr. Cornette,
They know who I am.
Today on Mid-South Wrestling, you have the match that you've been crying about, the match you've been yelling about, the match between the Midnight Express and Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling #2.
Almost, but not quite. Because I think I got a little over-eager. I had been wanting to get those cowards, those chickens, in the ring for so long. When I signed the contract that they put in front of me, I neglected to read all of the clauses. It's still, ladies and gentlemen, as in once again, a non-title match, which means they have once again refused to put the belts up because they know that they'll lose them if they do. So it seems we have a failure to communicate. And what we're going to have to do now is keep on humiliating them, degrading them, until finally they agree to put those belts up. Because if there's one thing about me and about the Express, when we say something, it happens. If I tell you the sun's not going to come up tomorrow, you better buy you a flashlight. You understand that? And if I say I want the Mid-South Tag Team Championships, then the Express are going to get them. Now, I don't care what we have to do, but it seems you're not taking us seriously. So we're fixing to quit playing, we're fixing to get serious, and we're fixing to make Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA the joke champions, the chickens, the cowards. We're fixing to make them believers, and quick. I don't care what we have to do, they will believe.
Well, Jim Cornette is certainly not happy that he signed a contract for a non-title match, but the match will go on indeed. We've all been waiting to see it. Let's go to the ring now, and ring announcer Boyd Pierce.
This event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit, a non-title match. Introducing...
Just a second. Boyd dressed in the dark again, I see. Look at this, huh? just back up somewhere, please. I would like to introduce to you once again, ladies and gentlemen, two men that you should be familiar with. The men that made chickens out of your Mid-South Tag Team Champions. None other than my boys, the greatest tag team of all time, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express. There you are.
in the ring, and I'm leaving.
Oh boy, they didn't wait for the bell. There's been a lot of animosity. Wrestling 2 of Magnum TA, a non-title bout against the Midnight Express. And you can see Boyd Pierce said, I'm leaving. He knew to get out of there because there's sparks flying.
I'll tell you what, Bill, we got another great crowd here at the Irish Manil Boys Club. And everybody's standing. I don't see anybody sitting in their seats. They're all standing and cheering. And Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling 2 have sent the Midnight Express on their way.
That's right. The whole crowd is standing, and Magnum TA is he has just been like a chained lion. He has been said he's never been so humiliated in his whole life. And Wrestling 2 said, you know, he's been in a lot of wars, but to be sapped or blackjacked or slapstick from behind, and then especially to have felt that he let his partner down in that situation. And I'm sure they've watched tapes knowing Wrestling 2 and his thoroughness, they have watched tapes from anywhere the Midnight Express have appeared. And I'll guarantee you Magnum TA will be one prepared young individual out there as these Mid-South Tag Team champions, and you can just hear the crowd here tonight.
Bill, they've got a game plan. It's very evident. They've gone to work on that leg of Dennis Condrey, and they have worked on it religiously since the outset of this match.
Quick tags being made, a lot of teamwork. Well, 2 promised Magnum TA if he'd listen to him, train diligently, follow the mental preparation as well as the physical, he'd be a champion. And then Magnum TA has become a champion with a whole different aspect. He's an exciting youngster. He's done some things. The people around you can just see the country taken to Magnum TA. It's like a rebirth of this youngster as he's become excited. He's like come out of his shell. It was like Magnum TA had all this ability, but it was within his shell, and he's just released and come out, and he's truly a superstar in his own right. And he's out there with a man who's been a legend in his home time, Mr. Wrestling 2, and they're against the Midnight Express, Mama's boy Jimmy Cornette's team. And you know one thing about Jimmy Cornette, he doesn't invest his mother's money and buy a pig in the poke. He's bought a devastating team, a quick team. When they first came in, I didn't think their size, they were that overpowering. But let me tell you, I've changed my mind. They're a vicious, well-oiled machine, and they'll stoop at nothing to accomplish their desire. But right now, they're in there with a Mid-South tag. And listen to this crowd. Listen, they're standing up. The whole bleacher section here at the Irishman Hill Boys Club is standing.
The game plan, Magnum TA is implementing the game plan, Bill, to perfection.
That's right. Who's going to make the example of who? Jimmy Cornette telling you they were going to make an example of Magnum TA. Oh, Wrestling 2 caught a knee from outside. Jimmy Cornette said they were tired of playing games when they tarred and feathered Magnum TA. And then last week, that under individual, they were going to make an example of the Mid-South champion and force them to put the belts up, force them to put the titles up. It looks like they're going to have some awesome happenings to do to make an example of this team. Although right now, they got Wrestling 2 in a lot of trouble.
The momentum has turned. The momentum has turned. And Mr. Wrestling 2 is in a bad way. And now the Midnight Express, and they're tagging in and out very quickly. As we've seen them here in the last several weeks, there has been no better team on Mid-South Wrestling, to my knowledge, Bill, as far as actual teamwork, tagging in and out. They know each other's moves to perfection.
Well, this could be the ultimate in tag team bouts right here, that's for sure.
Well, Bill, it's a tribute to Mid-South Wrestling, and one of the reasons that Mid-South Wrestling is consistently the #1 ranked television wrestling program in the country is right here. This is a great example. Matchmaker Grizzly Smith has a main event, the main event that everyone in the Mid-South area and far beyond is wanting to see right here on television.
Wrestling 2, a lot of trouble right there. Dennis Condrey really carrying a battle to him.
And Bill, you notice they're working Mr. Wrestling 2 over in their half of the ring.
In a neutral corner, though, where the referee can't call for the break or anything else. They have some unusual strategy, these guys. You know, I've seen them do things that I've never seen another team do. When a guy's trying to tag his partner and he's crawling, many teams would always try to stop the partner crawling there, but they'll go across and attack the man that's trying to tag in first.
Bobby Eaton, perhaps the more brutal of the two, if it's possible to tell. He's a short fuse.
Well, he's got steel spring in his bodies, because I've never seen last week when he came off the second rope on that guy, he went almost to the lights. I've never seen a guy that can maneuver like him. They are an awesome team.
Condrey methodical. Mr. Wrestling 2 is trying to regroup.
Condrey tagged behind. 2 made the tag though. 2 got the tag. They were going to attack TA, but 2 got the tag, and Magnum TA is walking tall out there. And boy, he is really stiffing them. Drop kicks. This young athlete has just become an awesome. Jimmy Cornette's dropped his tennis racket. Oh, Jimmy Cornette pulled the top rope. I thought he dropped his tennis racket out of frustration. He pulled the top rope, and as Magnum TA went for that body check, Magnum TA went out over the top. Jimmy Cornette's handed Bobby Eaton something. Wrestling 2 is beating up Dennis Condrey. He's got a belt in there. Jimmy Cornette has handed Bobby Eaton a belt, and they started whipping Wrestling 2. They started whipping Wrestling 2. You can hear that belt, that leather smack clear over here at the table. They're whipping Wrestling 2.
And they're brazing some big old red welts.
A brutal beating.
Red welts are coming up all over the body of Mr. Wrestling 2.
A brutal beating. Look at him. They're laying that belt on him now. Here comes Magnum in. Gonna disqualify. They're whipping. They're just unmercifully.
Cornette, Bill. Look at Cornette now's got the belt.
Cornette's got the belt. The final insult to have that pipsqueak, mama's boy, sissy, put that belt to you.
And he is laying it in. Magnum TA. The welts are coming. You can see the welts on Wrestling 2's body.
Wrestling 2's body. Wrestling 2's got a chair. He's got a chair, and he's throwing one in for Magnum TA. They have really built. These guys, they're not staying to fight. I think they did this on purpose.
Chairs are going, and what a match. The winner by disqualification, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA, and we'll be back with more Mid-South action after this word from the network.